Hi everyone. Today's session is Transforming Agriculture at John Deere with SAP on AWS. My name is Prasanna Kidalai. I work as a product manager, SAP platform for John Deere. I've been working for John Deere since last 16 years in various roles within SAP Basis, enterprise architecture, infrastructure and operations. Today with me is Bidwan Barua, who will be presenting how you can navigate your own transformation after my presentation. I'm really excited to be here today to talk about John Deere's SAP Cloud journey. So this would not have been possible without the efforts of SAP Basis team members and the partnership with our product teams within various business capabilities and also AWS. I'm going to talk about John Deere, our awesome SAP on AWS Cloud journey, some key insights into automation and migration patterns, and some of the challenges probably you can relate to. And Bidwan is going to cover how you can navigate your own transformation later. We'll take the questions at the end. I would like to start off by telling you a little bit more about John Deere. Although we are known for our iconic green and yellow machines, John Deere produces around 100 distinct product lines with smart technologies in them. John Deere is a Fortune 100 company with more than 70,000 employees in over 70 countries. John Deere is thoroughly a global technology company, building intelligent, connected, smart machines and also applications to unlock the customer value. For example, we have developed a solution using a high-speed camera and artificial intelligence technology to identify the weeds and also precision spray the weeds, thus saving farmers up to 95% of the herbicide and also protecting the environment. Commitment is one of our core values. We are committed to customer success. At John Deere, we think of ourselves as disruptors who develop innovative products and solutions for our customers' needs. Precision agriculture innovation helps farmers to be more productive and also profitable, also safeguarding water, air, and soil. So being an innovator is in our DNA. Before I shift to the cloud journey topic, I would like to share a key insight here. So start your cloud journey. Don't wait it to be perfect in terms of automation or in terms of cloud skills, and keep going. Today, lots of business critical processes within John Deere go through SAP. So what that means is SAP is at the core of our operations at Deere. Manufacturing shop floor applications, manufacturing analytics, global product data management system, parts operations, parts warehouse management, order management, global product warranty, HR, payroll, core finance, treasury, global trade services, transportation management, supply relations management, to name a few. So let's look at some of the drivers here, which also became an outcome for us. Faster provisioning in hours compared to days and weeks on-prem. We went into the cloud with the mindset of right sizing so that we can scale up and down as needed. And we looked at our SAP architecture and we made sure so we are more resilient and also highly available compared to what we had on-prem. We were running a lot of SAP workloads in mainframe under the ZOS DB2 database. So there's a substantial cost savings when we moved to the cloud. And we were able to leverage some of the cloud technologies to accelerate our innovation. And also we try to improve our security posture by encrypting at rest and encrypting in transit our RFC traffic, the API traffic, and HTTP traffic. And we are also able to comply with the NACHA compliance that was due in June 2021. So this is an awesome SAP cloud journey. So I am talking about. So we started in 2018 taking a risk-based approach with some pilot systems. So we started learning automation. We started learning cloud skills at that point of time. And in 2019, we realized we are almost ready to move some of our critical SAP workloads to the cloud. That is when we decided to move engineering, parts, CRM, EWM, service parts planning, and credit systems to the cloud. But after those migrations, we realized the automations we created is not modular and is not probably going to scale. So if we are going to do a lot of migrations at the same time, that is when we went back to the drawing table in 2020, and we focused on creating automation from scratch. So that is the only reason you see only few technical systems like Solution Manager, GRC systems were migrated during 2020. This year, so we migrated 10 SAP landscapes and also built 4 new SAP landscapes in the cloud. That is a lot in terms of the overlap. Almost every weekend we were doing some cloud migration or the other. We are doing cloud migration for multiple business capability areas: manufacturing, finance, HR, data, and analytics. So the size of the database varied between 1 terabyte to 12 terabyte bare metal instances. And we have a target in 2022 to go up to 70% in the cloud. As we started our cloud journey, we were also positioning our infrastructure as a service, software as a service, and platform as a service areas for SAP workloads. As you have seen in the earlier slide, so we started with on-prem and on the edge for shop floor applications, and we are now at 45% on AWS, and we have a target of 70% next year in AWS. We have several S4 systems already, so EWM systems and ER logistics systems and master data system. We are planning to convert some of the other systems to S4 next year. We will be looking at clean core, and probably we are going to leverage some of the SAP business technology platform area where we can develop side-by-side extensions and apps. We already leverage Adobe Document Service, SAP Analytics Cloud, and IBP, Integrated Business Planning in SAP's BTP. In the software as a service, we leverage SAP SuccessFactors for the Talent Central use. So as I mentioned in the earlier slide, in 2020, we went to the drawing board and started to look at automation with a fresh mind. We went with 3 key design principles: design for API-driven infrastructures, looking at infrastructure as a code and self-service, and provisioning services, and not just the infrastructure, the services, and also more proactive and less reactive self-healing for some of our workloads. And we also at that point of time rationalized on 3 key tool sets. We picked open source Terraform at that point of time, since it was cloud agnostic and we were planning to use the same or similar automation for our on-prem VMware environment as well. And we already had GitHub and Jenkins in our enterprise toolkit. We went with salt stack since all of our SAP application servers and database servers are running on SUSE Linux, and salt stack comes along with that. So for the configuration management and drift detection and drift management. And we also leverage Python, Groovy, and Bash for those execution modules. SAP Landscape Manager, which is called SAP Llama, is an orchestration tool provided by SAP, so which we leverage for the application automation. So we use it today for mass operations, mass start and stop of SAP systems, HANA zero downtime upgrades, and we have plans to use it for refresh using PCA next year. The SAP Focus Run is the next generation monitoring tool from SAP. We leverage that for both monitoring and also certain automations. So let me dive into some of the automation components we use today. So for our cloud automation, GitHub is the central repository where we keep the versions for SAP's configuration files, Terraform modules, salt pillar files. And Jenkins is used as pipelines for creating new systems and modifying the existing SAP systems and also destroying the systems. Terraform along with the TerraGrunt to keep it dry, so we leverage it for infrastructure as code with the providers AWS for the cloud and VMware for the on-prem. We don't use VMware in the cloud. And Terraform passes it on to the Salt to create SAP's file system, SAP's HANA database, fast restart options, the backups, patching, etc. We also keep the Terraform remote state in the Amazon DynamoDB and S3. So this is what our architecture looks like in the cloud. We run SAP workloads in multiple regions. So we have cross region replication enabled for certain critical applications. Within a region, we leverage multiple availability zones, and we distribute SAP's application server in multiple availability zones. We also take care of SAP's single point of failure. The SAP central service is replicated to a NQ server, NQ replication server in another availability zone. And also the primary HANA database is replicated in a sync mode to another availability zone onto a standby HANA server. EFS is used for shared file systems. We have started using backend for streaming the backups directly to S3 now. And we are leveraging the Amazon's CloudWatch for basic monitoring and auto recovery. Since we already have SAP's Focus Run tool, which we are leveraging for monitoring SAP application, we are also using to leverage that for the operating system as well. Direct Connect, Transit Gateway, and Route 53 are some of the networking components we leverage today. And we do have application servers as a standby in each availability zone to auto scale if needed. So let me go through some of the migration patterns we have seen over the last 3 years. The first one is pretty straightforward in the sense if you are already running a database on HANA on-prem, migrating it to the cloud is pretty straightforward. So, and it is not taking more than 8 hours. So in our case, the technical downtime was anywhere between 2 to 3 hours, and the validation and the ramping up SAP and ramping down SAP took the rest of the time. And we built the infrastructure already and just replicate the HANA database. We don't move the data, and then we cut over. And the second scenario is we tried it on one system. So I'll be open with you on that. So we leveraged the DMO. DMO is data migration option tool from SAP, provided as part of the software upgrade manager toolkit. So that helps you do the migration, and also along with that you can do the Unicode conversion and also apply support packs or even enhancement packs. So there is an option provided by SAP where you can do the DMO and also the cloud move in one step. So this is what we tried for our supplier relation management system. It was running on ZOS database, and it was already Unicode, so we didn't have to do Unicode conversion, but we applied the support stacks when we migrated. So it took around 13 hours of technical downtime, and so overall it was 17 hours. So in terms of the data migration plus the cloud move. And the third scenario, what you see here, is probably the most common one, where you are running in on any DB, and also you're running a very old ECC system or old system which needs a Unicode conversion, and also you have not applied patches or the support packs or enhancement packs for a while. So you can do all of those and do that as a first step. And then so the system is still in on-prem. So the only reason why you would run it for a few weeks in on-prem is to mitigate any risks that's caused by the HANA migration or the Unicode conversion. So as a second step, so you, after a few weeks, so you would migrate it to the cloud. It can take anywhere up to 23 hours depending on the size of the database. Your mileage varies. So we had one of the largest one was a 12 terabyte system. So around 23 hours was our stats based on our migration pattern for this two-step approach. So I'll talk about some of the operational challenges probably you can relate to, right? When you are doing a migration at a scale which is like 10 SAP landscapes and building 4 new landscape in the same year, there would be a lot of overlap for basis team members and also product teams. So like manufacturing had 6 landscape that was going through cloud migrations. So actually scaling that project within a team is very difficult. So we already are leveraging agile operating model, but we looked at Scrum at scale, and we leveraged Scrum of Scrum Master to manage this chaos. Just streamline the work before actual cloud migration as a prerequisite for cloud migration, running those test cases and the integration use cases, and also that person also helped us during the hypercare after the cutover if there were any issues, so we were able to form a SWAT team quickly and resolve the issues. Basis team put some non-negotiables in front of the product teams, like the system has to be single sign-on, enabled and enforced, no syncing of passwords to the cloud, and also we did not allow mounting NFS mounts from on-prem to the cloud. So we provided SAP tools like BODS, PI, and from AWS, so we did run few POCs like data sync agent, transfer family, and storage gateway. And product teams were empowered to pick some of the solutions which they liked or which was relevant to their use case. So if you want to pick the 2 most challenging ones out of this, so testing and integration are the 2 most challenging ones. Invariably, you are going to miss a few test cases, not just because you didn't anticipate, just because there were unknowns, right? So we had 1 or 2 cases like that, so we had to quickly fix that problem. So after the cutover, integration there will be a lot of unknowns just because you are dealing with the third-party vendors and software as a service vendors you are integrating with. You may have to whitelist some of the IP addresses with them. And also, from our side, we partnered with our firewall team even before the production instance was migrated, so that we could test some of the integrations and make sure there was no firewall related issues. And they also helped us during the cutover, so if there was any issues. And company like John Deere, which runs 24/7 and a global company, it's very difficult to secure a downtime. And after securing, sticking to that downtime and also not extending that downtime is very challenging. So we were able to manage this overall without any issues. But that is one challenge you would see in any global company. And from the security perspective, so we were targeting to have more secure integrations and more secure SAP environment in the cloud. And we also had NACHA in front of us. So this is a US banking regulations that we were supposed to follow by June of 2021. So we went with the encryption at rest and encryption at transit for some of our RFC traffics, integrations, and APIs and HTTP traffic. That was a lot of work before actually we did the cloud migration. So one key site I would like to leave behind here is build redundancy into your application so that you are able to fail over in case of an availability zone failure or EBS volumes failure or EC2 instances failure. And with that, so I'm going to hand it over to Bidwan Barua, who is going to talk about how you can navigate your own SAP journey here.
Thanks, PK, for sharing John Deere's SAP on AWS journey. I am Bidwan Barua, a SAP Specialist Solution Architect with AWS, and I have been helping Deere in their SAP transformation journey over the last 1 year. If Deere's journey has been of interest for you, let's now see how you can start your own SAP on AWS journey and what other SAP customers are doing on AWS. SAP and AWS have a relationship that dates back over a decade when SAP first became an AWS customer in 2008. Since then, we partnered together to create many industry-leading breakthroughs and a continuous stream of co-innovation on behalf of our SAP customers. In 2012, we started supporting AnyDB, and we started the journey for automated SAP system deployment back in 2014 when we introduced AWS Quick Start for SAP HANA. This was the first automation to install SAP HANA database together with provisioning the EC2 instance and EBS volumes. By 2015, we had hundreds of customers running SAP on AWS. Around 2016, we really saw the adoption take off when we released the AWS X1 instances. These were the only HANA offering certified for 2 terabyte scale up and 14 terabyte scale out at the time, and customers really liked it. In 2017, we began hosting the SAP Cloud Platform, now called BTP, or Business Technology Platform, where today we continue to have the most global and service coverage. By 2018, we had hundreds of customers running SAP on AWS. The most demanding customers pushed us to go bigger. So we launched the EC2 high memory instances for 6, 9, 12, 18, and 24 terabytes. Like PK said earlier, John Deere is using multiple of those. These are the only offerings that run on bare metal and are integrated into a software-defined cloud infrastructure. In 2019, we launched the 100 terabyte B4HANA offering, followed by the only 48 terabyte S4HANA offering. Both continue to be the only native cloud-enabled options available today. With more than 5,000 SAP customers in 2020, we rolled out AWS Launch Wizard for SAP and AWS Backend Agent. AWS Launch Wizard is the automation tool designed for deploying new SAP workloads on AWS, as well as to migrate existing on-prem SAP workloads to AWS. AWS Backend Agent is AWS purpose-built SAP HANA database connector to send and receive backups directly on Amazon S3 storage. PK mentioned about using it in John Deere as well. This year, we not only added new features to our existing AWS services, we also launched virtualized high memory instances for 6, 9, and 12 terabytes. This allows our SAP customers to take advantage of the hourly pricing, provide greater flexibility, while also giving you more options for supporting use cases with temporary infrastructure needs like SAP projects or running an upgrade for your N+1 environments. John Deere uses multiple of these instances today as well. Also, in addition to the core innovation I just mentioned, we continue to see SAP rely on AWS to power other offerings. Most of the SAP Cloud offerings run on AWS, including SAP BTP, Concur, Qualtrics, Data Custodian, so on and so forth. SAP NS2 uses AWS GovCloud region, where we service both the US government agencies and highly regulated industries. US Navy migrated their largest SAP system, which runs on a 24 terabyte instance used by 70,000 users across 6 Navy commands, to NS2, and I think it provides a great example of the kind of SAP workloads that customers trust AWS with. So what does exactly all of this information mean to you as a SAP customer? It means that AWS provides you the most choice and proven approaches to SAP on cloud success. Whether you are looking to do a lift and shift of ECC, move to HANA while staying on ACC, migrate to S/4HANA and do the big transformation, or innovate and transform with AWS services, we can help you get the most value out of your SAP investments. PK spoke about a couple of these paths that Deere used in their journey, depending on the type of system they had or the type of environments they were migrating. We shall see some of the customer stories shortly, but let's talk about each one of these approaches briefly, starting from the bottom left, which is where most SAP customers find themselves today. Lift and shift of ECC or R3, right? For many customers, bringing their R3 or ECC application to AWS as is the best starting point. It allows them to realize rapid time to value while minimizing operational disruption. You can tap into the 200 plus AWS native services to innovate, provision resources as and when you need them, and only pay for what you use. Other customers stay on ECC but move from something like Oracle or Microsoft SQL Server to SAP HANA as a part of the migration to AWS. This provides them in-memory capabilities of HANA, often leads to reduced technical debt, and sets the stage for a move to S/4HANA in the future, without having to do any changes in the ERP application layer. Then there are customers who do big bang. They move to S/4HANA directly. If you have a clear business case for S/4HANA today, and you are driving a broader digital transformation, or have disparate ECC environments, then this approach might make most sense to you. You take the ECC end of support now and gain the capabilities included in S/4HANA, like industry-specific workflows and a simplified data model, simplified business processes, so on and so forth. The beautiful thing is that you can start, innovate, modernize, transform with AWS services regardless of which path you take. We never push our customers to make application or database changes that they are not ready for today. We can help you de-risk and simplify your path to HANA or S/4HANA, but only on a timeline that makes sense for your business needs. We see different industry leaders take all of the approaches I just spoke about, right? So our Coca-Cola is a great example of customers who do a lift and shift, exit out of the data center and innovate in the cloud. So our Coca-Cola made the decision to go all in on AWS in 2019, including its mission-critical SAP ECC, BW, HR, and CRM instances. Working with AWS professional services, they built an AWS landing zone for SAP that met their stringent security and compliance requirements and automate time-consuming operational tasks as well. AWS has allowed them to reduce their infrastructure costs by more than 20% while speeding up performance of business processes by as much as 50%. Another great example is MGM. Before Amazon acquired them earlier this year, They were already in the process of migrating their mission-critical ECC systems to AWS as a part of enterprise-wide transformation. Similarly, there are a lot of customers who moved to AWS with ECC on Oracle, and now they are planning to move to S/4HANA. On the Newmont acquired Gold Corp in 2019, the largest acquisition in the history of the gold industry. To consolidate disparate ECC systems across two companies' landscape, they moved to Suite on HANA on AWS. While this saved them over $500,000 in annual infrastructure cost, it also gave them the greater security, greater agility, and paved the way for their migration to S/4HANA later this year. BMS, Bristol Myers Squibb, used SAP's selective data transition tool to move key data from their ECC implementation to a greenfield S4 implementation on AWS. They are also using AWS services to automate infrastructure validation and broader ZXP compliance. And then we have customers tapping into the full richness of the AWS platform to drive innovative use cases at the technical, line of business, or industry level, both with ECC and S/4HANA. For example, Invista has a data lake that combines SAP data from ECC with other enterprise data in S3. Then they use AWS Analytics, AI, and ML services for smart manufacturing use cases like automated inspections, demand forecasting, and predictive maintenance. In total, they estimate these improvements will make them save $300 million in business value. Volkswagen has been on S/4HANA for a few years, and recently they have integrated their S/4HANA system with AWS-based Digital Product Platform, or DPP, which uses IoT devices to deliver intelligence across the entire manufacturing process. They plan to improve manufacturing outcomes with SAP and DPP by 30% by 2025. One of the business processes which comes to my mind right away is where the innovation was around their stock replenishment process, in which IoT device performs automatic stock rechecks at the shop floor, and which allows SAP to start the replenishment process automatically without human intervention. It even creates the purchase requisition for the missing stock. If you'd like to know more, I encourage you to go to YouTube and check out the video from last year's reInvent. As you can see, there are all viable paths. It really comes down to your own business requirements, your own business needs, and now we provide you a tool to do the SAP Migration Readiness Assessment. SMART, SAP Migration Assessment Test, is an online assessment tool developed and managed by the leading global technology research and advisory firm ISG in partnership with AWS and Brand Story. SMART helps SAP decision makers understand their SAP cloud migration readiness and identify an ideal approach based on the customer's readiness score and ISG's own proprietary research they have been doing with several other customers over the years. You will need less than 15 minutes to complete the survey, which consists of about 14 questions, and you will instantly receive your personalized score and a customized report, including recommended approach for SAP cloud migration, access to industry benchmark data, best practices, and reference case studies applicable to your industry segment. Decision makers will now be able to leverage this report and promptly initiate business case development and SAP cloud migration discussions with their enterprise. So this is something that you can use right away. You might have heard the clean core model plenty of times, especially if you are planning to move to S4. So why the clean core model? One of the reasons that this breadth of pay-as-you-go services can be so transformational for SAP customers is that it allows them to start driving value from SAP data outside of the ERP system. SAP customers and partners now acknowledge that over-customization of SAP core ERP has made it difficult for them to connect and integrate with other applications, other data sources, and more difficult to adapt to changing business needs. Instead of customizing at the application level, many AWS customers are moving towards a model where they can keep the ERP core clean and differentiate at a higher level by integrating with AWS native services, either natively or via SAP BTP. Now let's look at each layer a little closely. Infrastructure layer. Starting from the ground up, it begins with our infrastructure. Customers are heading to the cloud as the new normal and proven infrastructure as a service that it is secure, global, agile, and robust. And it is the foundational starting point. Then you have the application layer. Of course, there's this traditional SAP layer where applications like ECC, BW, S/4HANA live. These have been the business process backbone for many enterprises for over many decades, and they will continue to play a key role. However, the differentiation isn't the innovation or what we call as a differentiation layer. This is where customers leverage the AWS space of innovation to complement and extend their SAP and other enterprise systems. These are different use cases. There are different use cases wherein you can use AWS services together with a core SAP system on AWS. For example, you can use Amazon Forecast, which can work with your SAP ECC, S4, APO, IBP, so on and so forth, all related to planning to improve forecast accuracy with AI ML plus external data. Or use Amazon Lookout for equipment, which can work with your SAP plant maintenance module to improve asset performance with predictive maintenance, IoT, and ML. Or Amazon Lookout for Vision, which can work with SAP QM to reduce product defects with computer vision. The Volkswagen story I spoke about earlier is a great example of innovating using AWS native services. We have other customers like Zalando, who has integrated its SAP system with 36 AWS services and created a hybrid data architecture. As a result of its hybrid solution, Zalando has lowered down the cost of ownership for its data architecture by as much as 30%. So these are some of the use cases for using AWS native services together with your SAP system on AWS. Now let's look at some of the new and recent announcements for our SAP customers. As you have probably heard by now, nearly everything we do here at AWS or build here at AWS starts with customer feedback. Over the last few months, our customers have expressed the pain for the need to work with multiple monitoring tools. For example, CloudWatch for the infrastructure layer and other various monitoring tools for the HANA and the application layer. Hence, we decided to work on some solution to erase this pain. Our vision is CloudWatch as the one-stop shop for monitoring of SAP systems. Our customers use CloudWatch for monitoring AWS infrastructure resources, and now we are extending that to monitor HANA. This will help customers monitor all their HANA databases around critical KPIs like CPU, memory, HANA data, HANA log, volume performance metrics, out-of-memory events, along with several other metrics like status of HANA system replication, status of the cluster. If there is a failover, there will be a notification alert system, so on and so forth. Not only this, customers would be able to get insights into potential root causes, including CloudWatch application insights. CloudWatch application insights analyzes historical values of the metrics and looks for predictable patterns on data and uses a machine learning-based anomaly detection model to differentiate normal versus problematic behavior. It correlates these issues and identifies anomalies which are presented in automated dashboards with relevant info in CloudWatch events. This helps, and I'm sure this will help all the basis administrators take remedial actions even faster. Another constant piece of feedback we have received is to package up our learnings over the last 13 plus years supporting SAP workloads in the cloud so that customers can apply them to their own SAP implementation and migrations on AWS. We are super excited to announce the SAP Lens for AWS's well-architected framework, which got released a couple of days back. It delivers, against that request from the customer. AWS innovations are always about customer feedback. The SAP Lens is a collection of customer-proven design principles and best practices for ensuring SAP workloads on AWS are well architected. Using the SAP Lens as a supplement to the AWS's well-architected framework, which provides the foundation for building secure, high-performing, resilient, and efficient application and workloads on AWS. It highlights some of the most common areas for improvement aligned to the 5 pillars of AWS's well-architected framework: operational excellence, security, reliability, performance efficiency, and cost optimization. The SAP Lens is based on insights that AWS has gathered from customers, AWS partners, and our SAP specialist community. The Lens has been designed to help you adopt a cloud-native approach to running SAP. By using SAP Lens during your migration and subsequently when you're operating your SAP landscape on AWS, it can help you make the appropriate design decisions in line with your business requirements. By now, most of you must already be aware, based on customer feedback again, we have released the AWS SAP on AWS technical certification. Don't forget to register yourself for the exam right away. So how do you start your SAP on AWS journey, and how do we help you? We provide complimentary workshops wherein someone like me, who is a SAP solution architect, would come in and perform deep dive technical workshops and create a roadmap. We make investment from our side too to help you in your migration journey. We have special funding programs, which we would be happy to talk about on a one-on-one conversation. We also have professional services, a team which performs SAP cloud migrations day in and day out. That's all they do. If you prefer to use a partner or a SI of your own choice, we have the AWS SAP Competency Center from which you may select a partner of your own choice. Please go to aws.amazon.com/SAP to know more about our SAP on AWS offerings. We have a bunch of more SAP sessions, few from AWS, few from other SAP customers like Johnson & Johnson, Marco Polo, who are using AWS to accelerate their own SAP journey. Thank you again for attending. Hope this session was helpful to you, and we look forward to working with you. And thank you again.